What NSFW confession have you wanted to share anonymously? Story 1. I broke up with my ex-boyfriend because he was cheating, but he didn't take it well. One night, he and his best friend broke into my apartment while I was out. When I got home, they were waiting. What started as him wanting to talk things out turned into them holding me hostage. For 18 hours, I was assaulted, beaten, and emotionally destroyed. I never told anyone. They threatened my life and my family's if I spoke. My family never understood why I broke up with him. They kept inviting him to family holidays, even after I begged them not to. Eventually, I stopped going. I miss my nieces and nephews so much, but I can't risk seeing that man ever again. It's been so long now that I don't think anyone would believe me. I carry this weight alone. I just want the pain to stop, not only from what happened, but from the fact that I lost my family too. I grieve for them every holiday I spend alone. I never chose this distance. It was forced on me by the silence I have to keep to stay safe. Story 2. On the day of our 10-year wedding anniversary, I found out my wife had been talking to a guy online, sharing pictures, flirting, talking about leaving me. I had a hunch, but didn't want to admit it. The night before, she told me a joke he had said. She laughed way too hard. It fell off. While she was in the shower, I logged into her Discord. The first message I saw was, "I'd send you pictures, but I'm being supervised." I felt like I couldn't breathe. I downloaded the chat history. I read it all. "I love you," she wrote to him. "I'm so angry at my husband when he's not here. Being intimate with him doesn't make the feelings go away." I cried 3 times reading those chats. We'd been together so long, and I had no idea she felt this way. She said it wasn't cheating, but it felt like betrayal. She said she'd block him. She did. We're trying to move forward, but I still check her phone when she leaves it out. I haven't told anyone. I still love her. I'm just broken, and I don't know how to rebuild what's left. Story 3. I was 5 when I realized something wasn't right. My mom and her boyfriend would hit me and my younger siblings. I thought that was normal. One day, my mom told me my baby brother was sick, and they had to take him to the hospital. She dropped me off at my aunt's. I played with my cousins until nighttime. Then there was a knock. 2 police officers came. My aunt started crying. They picked me up and took me away. I thought they were taking me to my mom. Instead, I spent the night in a strange place. Then they moved me to a foster home. I was terrified. A few weeks later, I saw my grandparents and my sister again. They were taking me home. But my brother wasn't there. That's when they told me he didn't survive. My mom and her boyfriend were arrested. I didn't understand it then. As I got older, I started blaming myself. I visit my brother's grave every year. I always bring yellow flowers. He loved yellow. And sometimes I leave a small toy. I was just a kid, but I still wonder if I could have done something to save him. Story 4. My wife cheated on me with a professional soccer player. She swears it was emotional, not physical, but I don't know what to believe. Things had been off between us. We fought a lot. One night, I confronted her. She told me she wasn't sure if she loved me anymore. 2 weeks later, I found texts, pictures, messages full of things no husband should ever see. I understood then why she'd been so distant. She was getting what she needed from someone else. We've been together 20 years, married for 14. We have 3 amazing kids. I still love her. I look at her and remember who she used to be. But now she barely looks at me. No affection, no remorse, just coldness. I've thought about dying, not taking my life directly. I couldn't do that to my kids. But sometimes I pray for something to take me. A disease, an accident, anything. We're in counseling. She ended the affair. But she told me she's not in love with me anymore. I haven't told anyone. I'm ashamed. I don't want people to hate her. I just want to feel wanted again. Story 5. When I was around 4, I had a little friend who came to play. She always wanted to play in the doghouse in our backyard. She said her dad played a game with her there and wanted me to try it. The game was touching each other in ways no child should. I didn't know what it meant. I just followed her lead. My mom thought it was weird how obsessed she was with the doghouse and got rid of it. I forgot about the whole thing for years. Then one day in my 20s it hit me. Like a lightning bolt. I remembered everything. What the game was. What it meant. That little girl had been abused. And she was trying to reenact it with me. I never told anyone. I don't even remember her name. I feel guilty. Not because I did anything wrong, but because I never said anything. I never tried to find her. I don't know what happened to her. She was just a kid. We both were. but I feel like a coward for staying quiet. I hope she's okay, wherever she is. Story 6. I have stage 4 stomach cancer. It started with unexplained weight loss, 30 pounds in 2 months. I went to the doctor. First it was gastritis, then Crohn's, then ulcerative colitis. None of it was right. Finally, they did an endoscopy. Found a tumor. It had already spread to lymph nodes. Tomorrow I find out if it's in other organs. I haven't told my family. Not my wife. Not my kids. Not my coworkers. I just don't want them to treat me different. I want to be useful as long as I can. I've dealt with bipolar disorder for years, attempted suicide more than once. But now, I'm not going to fight this. I'm going to let it take me. I'm tired. I'm scared. But mostly I feel peace. I know I won't survive. But this way, no one will blame themselves. They won't know. They'll just think it was cancer. And maybe that's easier for them. I've lived a hard life. Maybe this is the quiet end I was always waiting for. Story 7. I own a 5-foot-tall doll. Yep. That kind of doll. I live with my mom and 2 grandmas, so getting it inside without anyone noticing was a mission. I waited outside for the UPS guy so the doorbell wouldn't ring. The box was huge, 80 pounds. Somehow, I dragged it in down the hall into my room. No one saw. First week, I realized cleaning it was a nightmare. I had to time everything right. Once, I had it in the bathtub and decided to shower too, so it wouldn't look suspicious. After I finished, I opened the door and my grandma was waiting to use the bathroom. I prayed she didn't pull back the curtain. Luckily, she didn't. Later, my brother and his girlfriend moved in, and I had to share my room. I stashed the doll in a big box inside my closet. It's been hidden ever since. No one knows. And I plan to keep it that way. It's weird, I know. But it's mine. And honestly, that doll has been there for me more than most people. Story 8. My fiancée is the only person I truly enjoy being around. I don't tell her that because I don't want to scare her. But it's the truth. I used to be social. Then I went through depression and drug addiction about 6 years ago. I've been clean for years now, but I'm not the same. When I hang out with friends, I count the minutes until I can leave. I smile, nod, laugh when I should. But inside, I'm just waiting to be alone. I've gotten good at pretending. A lot of people think I'm their friend. But I feel nothing toward them. My fiancée is different. I don't know why. She makes me feel calm. Safe. I love her more than I thought I was capable of. When we broke up for a few months, I tried dating. It was awful. I couldn't connect with anyone. I hated every second. I worry if we ever break up again, I'll never find someone like her. I don't know how to fix this part of me. I just know I love her, and I don't want to lose the one person who makes life bearable. Story 9. In 5th grade, I was constantly bullied by a 6th grader and his crew. They shoved me, mocked me, even shoved my face into my own vomit once. Another time, they smashed a bag of dog poop on my head. I was terrified. Every day, I walked home with them following me. The leader would always say, "You better not tell anyone." And I believed him. My uncle, a trucker, once told me a story about using a tire thumper to fight off robbers. I asked if he had one, said it was for a mean dog. He gave it to me. I kept it in my backpack. I never used it. Until one day, I stayed late at school. I thought I was safe. But the bully was waiting. We walked through a shortcut. He pulled a knife. Said it was time to gut me. I panicked. Swung the thumper. Heard a crack. He dropped. I was ready to hit again, but he begged me to stop. I whispered, "If you tell anyone, I'll kill you with your own knife." He never messed with me again. I've never told anyone. I still carry the guilt. But at least I survived. Story 10. I'm a church leader. I teach Sunday school. I went to a Christian college. My wife is a believer. My kids are growing up in the faith. But I don't believe in God anymore. I wish I did. I used to. For 34 years, God was my best friend. Now it doesn't make sense to me. I keep up the act because I can't bear to hurt the people I love. They'd be devastated. They'd feel betrayed. I feel like I've lost someone I loved deeply, but I can't mourn publicly. Everyone still talks to me like we share the same beliefs. I nod. I smile. I even pray at meals. But inside I feel dead. I don't know what I believe. I just know it's not this. I can never tell my wife. It would crush her. My kids look up to me. I don't want to be the reason they lose faith. So I live the lie. Every Sunday, I stand in front of people and talk about a God I no longer believe in. And no one knows. Story 11. I accidentally got high at work. I had just turned 21 the weekend before, and went out drinking way too hard. The next morning, I had the worst migraine of my life. After struggling through a few hours, I asked a coworker for some ibuprofen. She handed me 3 pills and said, "These work great for migraines." I took them without thinking. At first, nothing happened. Then I started feeling amazing. Like I was floating. My headache vanished, but so did my ability to focus. I couldn't read, couldn't think. A couple of hours later, I was randomly drug tested. Nothing showed up, but my boss still suspended me for a week and a half because I was acting off. I had to fake being sick to avoid saying I took mystery pills from a coworker. The worst part is I still don't know what I took. I've been paranoid ever since. I'm back at work now, pretending everything's fine, but every now and then I think about that day and wonder what could have gone wrong. It could have been so much worse if the test came back positive. Or if I'd taken more. Story 12. This is gross and embarrassing, but my wife already knows. A few years ago, we moved in with her parents to save money. Living with in-laws is weird enough, but one morning it got worse. I woke up with a sudden, urgent need to use the bathroom. Her dad was getting ready for work, and I panicked. I didn't want to destroy their bathroom so early in our stay. So in desperation, I grabbed the small trash bin in the corner of our room, lined with a plastic bag, and did my business in it. Afterward, I cleaned myself up, tied the bag, and got ready for work. But now I had a new problem. How do I get rid of a bag of poop without anyone noticing? I couldn't leave it in the room. So, I stuffed it into the front pocket of my hoodie and walked 15 minutes to work with it bouncing against my stomach. I finally found a public trash can and tossed it. I've never told anyone else. But sometimes I remember that walk, hoodie bulging with secret shame, and I laugh. Or cringe. Usually both. Story 13. I was 14, nerdy, introverted, awkward. Never kissed a girl, never had a girlfriend. I felt invisible most of the time. Then my older brother got married. At the reception, I had a few drinks, people weren't watching too closely, and I felt good for once. Someone told me one of the bridesmaids' younger sisters thought I was cute. I found her. She was funny, kind, and actually wanted to talk to me. We held hands and wandered off to a quiet room. We sat and talked, and I thought, this is it. My first kiss. I leaned in. She kissed me back. Then out of nowhere, she gagged and threw up in my mouth. I didn't even have time to react before she ran out of the room crying. I sat there stunned, mouth still tasting like orange juice and regret. I rinsed my mouth out in the nearest bathroom and didn't come out for almost an hour. Nobody ever found out, thank God, but I'll never forget the moment I thought my life was about to change forever. And it did. Just not in the way I hoped. Story 14. I work in mental health. I'm good at it. I connect with clients, and many have told me I changed their lives. It's the one thing I'm proud of. But when I'm not at work, I'm completely alone. I don't have friends. I barely speak to my family. I live in a small apartment with no one to talk to. Despite being in decent shape and I guess attractive by some standards, I haven't been touched in years. I don't trust people anymore, especially women. Past experiences messed me up. I think I've forgotten how to be emotionally close to anyone. I care for people all day, then go home to silence. I think I'm more depressed than most of my clients. But I've gotten really good at hiding it. No one suspects a thing. I don't want pity. I don't even know what I want. I just wish I didn't feel so empty when I turn the key in my door each night. Sometimes I wonder if I'll ever be able to connect with someone again. Or if this is just it. Story 15. People think I have my life together. Truth is, it's a carefully crafted illusion. I'm a compulsive liar. I don't even know when it started, just that it became second nature. I shape myself to fit whatever situation I'm in. I lie about my past, my feelings, my plans. I've manipulated people I care about just to see if I could. I lie about small things too, just to see how far I can take them. I've started to realize this isn't normal. I've built a web of lies that's over 10 years old. I can't tell the truth anymore without unraveling everything. I've read about sociopathy and psychopathy. I'm not officially diagnosed, but I wouldn't be surprised. And yet, I don't feel scared. Not really. I feel powerful. Like I'm running a con that no one has caught on to. I know this will eventually blow up. I'll hurt someone. Maybe myself. But I keep doing it. I can't stop. I don't want anyone to know who I really am. Sometimes I wonder if there's even a real me left under all the lies. Story 16. When I was a little kid, I had a Peter Pan shirt from Disneyland. It was my favorite. One day, while using the bathroom, I accidentally got some poop on the back of the shirt. My mom saw it and threw it away. I was devastated. Ever since that day, over 18 years ago, I've had a habit. I take off all my clothes before I go to the bathroom. Every time. Even now, at 23, I do it at home without thinking. In public, I have a system. I keep my shirt draped over my shoulders and one leg out of my pants to avoid touching the floor. It's ridiculous, but it gives me peace of mind. I've had to explain it a few times. Once, when I was 10, I left all my clothes on the floor in a mall bathroom. My dad found them and freaked out. I just stood in the stall, quiet and naked. He didn't know what to say. I've tried to stop, but I always go back to it. I don't know if I'll ever change. Maybe I just want to keep my clothes safe, especially the ones I love. Story 17. I was assaulted by a woman, but I've never told anyone. I was 21, and we'd reconnected after high school. She invited me over to drink. I didn't think much of it. We were just old friends, right? But she kept coming on to me, even after I said no. I was drunk. She got naked, grabbed me, and forced herself on me. I froze. I didn't know what to do. I just let it happen, so it would be over faster. I walked home at 2 a.m., confused and ashamed. I told myself it was just drunk sex, but I knew it wasn't. A week later, she posted a meme on Facebook that said, "Real men don't sleep with drunk women." The irony made me sick. I blocked her and never spoke to her again. I still don't know how to process it. If I told anyone, they'd laugh. Or ask why I didn't stop her. But I couldn't. I didn't. And it haunts me more than I like to admit. Story 18. My fiancé works nights, I work days. We barely see each other. One night, I fed the dog, went to my basement den, and decided to take care of things. I turned on a relaxing playlist, opened a private browser, and browsed through some videos. After about an hour of edging, I was ready. I looked around for something to clean up with. There was a black sock nearby. I used it. It felt a little weird, like the fabric was moving, but I ignored it. When I was done, I pulled it off and screamed. An earwig was crawling down my shaft. I threw the sock. Another one came out. I panicked, slapping myself in the crotch like a maniac. I turned the sock inside out, for more came crawling out. I still don't know how they got in there. I can't look at socks the same way anymore. I inspect every pair before I put them on. I've told no one this story. Not even my fiancé. I don't think I ever will. Story 19. A few months ago, I got too drunk at a bar. I'm a lightweight and had no business drinking that much. Two guys started talking to me. I don't remember much, but I ended up going back to their place. I was stumbling, barely functioning. They helped me to a bed and started taking off my clothes. I didn't resist. I felt numb. One of them tried to go in anal, and I screamed, "Stop." He apologized and left the room. The other kept going. I didn't say anything. I stayed still. When he was done, he politely offered me a glass of water. I took it. Then I fell asleep. When I woke up, all my stuff was still there. I left. I was bleeding when I used the bathroom. I cried a little. Then I went to sleep in my own bed. I don't know how to feel about it. They didn't seem violent. Just opportunistic. I know I should talk to someone. I plan to eventually. But for now, I'm okay. I feel calm. Which scares me more than anything. Story 20. My dad used to beat me. That ended when he was caught cheating on my mom while she was at the hospital visiting her dying father. I thought things would get better after he left. They didn't. My mom, who's disabled and couldn't work, was left with no income, no help, and a 90-year-old mother with dementia to care for. She snapped. She blamed me for everything. She cried all night, raged all day, and beat me worse than my dad ever did. Sometimes I'd just let her hit me until she got tired. Other times, she'd run barefoot into the snow at night and disappear for hours. Once, I found her in the kitchen drunk and holding a knife. She tried to stab herself. I was 12, wrestling a blade out of my mother's hands. Another time, she called the police and accused me of attacking her. I had only pushed her off after she hit me. I ran away, and a near stranger from school came and walked me to his house at 11 p.m. That family saved my life. I never told the cops the truth because I didn't want to make her life worse. But I still live with the scars. Story 21. Everyone knows the cute version of how my husband and I met. Neighbors, friends, snowed in one winter night, realized we were meant to be. But that's not the full story. We were friends since high school, mostly because we weren't into the weed and party scene like our peers. We started lifting together. When I went to college out of state, he followed me there. We stayed close. Then one day, we hit the sauna after a workout. A group of girls came in, all in sports bras and spandex. They started flirting with him, asking bold, sexual questions. One straight up asked if she could practice deep-throating on him. She tried. Then another girl did. Then another. I got caught up in the moment, and without thinking, I joined in. Nailed it! Then I ran away, horrified. Days later, he called and said, "It happened. Let's move on. I need my lifting partner back." We stayed friends. Months later, during a snowstorm, I crashed at his place. Woke up freezing, crawled into his bed and said, "This is something we should have done a long time ago." That was it. Everyone else hears a sweet story. Only a few know the rest. Story 22. I spent nearly 6 years with someone who I'm pretty sure was bipolar. I worked 2 jobs to pay for everything, rent, groceries, bills, while he barely showed up for his part-time gig. We smoked weed every day. I cooked, cleaned, and provided. I lost all my friends. 2 years in, I was miserable and tried to break up with him. He told me he'd kill himself. I stayed. Eventually, I started an emotional affair with a coworker. That became physical. Then I met a dom online and had a virtual D/S relationship. Then I hooked up with another coworker's boyfriend. For almost 3 years, I was cheating in different ways. I kept telling myself I'd leave, but I was scared. I finally broke it off with everyone. A year later, I told my partner I didn't love him anymore. 2 days after I left, he killed himself. I've never stopped blaming myself. Jason, one of the guys I cheated with, supported me through it all. We're together now, and he's the only reason I'm still alive. I wish I'd handled everything better. But at the time, I didn't know how. Story 23. I have 2 secrets. One people might guess. The other, I can't tell anyone. First, I care for my mom because she has a mental disability. But I resent her. Her ex-boyfriend abused me, and she ignored it. Even defended him when the school called to ask why I wasn't attending. She embarrasses me in public, talks loudly, says inappropriate things. Her disability isn't obvious, so to others, she just seems like a rude, weird woman. She compares herself to me constantly. It's exhausting. Worst of all, she tells stories about her abusive ex like they were romantic, even turning my trauma into punchlines. Second secret, my husband has been using meth. For a year. While I dragged him to doctors, worried about panic attacks and insomnia, he knew the truth. I found out by accident. He confessed. Tried rehab. Quit. Said he didn't need it. His symptoms came back. He swears he's clean now. I don't know what to believe. I haven't told anyone. Not because I'm ashamed of him, but because I'm ashamed of myself for staying. I don't know if I chose to. I just stayed. And I'm scared it's going to destroy both of us. Story 24. My PTSD didn't come from war or something people consider big. It came from trying synthetic weed when I was 17. I cracked my head open on a stone table after passing out. I entered a nightmarish state that felt like years. I saw people with skin peeled off. I was part of a giant wool made of worms. I vomited uncontrollably. I couldn't remember who I was. I begged for it to end. It didn't. Until it suddenly did. I woke up fighting off EMTs and cops. My heart had stopped twice. I remember saying, "Hey Tim," to my church pastor before they sedated me. They said it was an allergic reaction. I should have died. Since then I've relapsed multiple times, mentally, not physically. My brain replays the horror. People say I breathe heavily, grip my chest, sometimes crawl on the floor. I don't remember any of it. I've lived with this for years, always afraid the next episode will be the one that breaks me. Most people think synthetic weed is harmless. For me, it opened a gateway to hell. And I never really came back. Story 25. My brother is in rehab now. He flunked out of college, cost our parents thousands, and still gets treated like a golden child. They bought him another car. They let him drink, even though he's underage, on meds and in outpatient rehab. Meanwhile, I've worked since I was 16. Bought my own car. Had 3 jobs. My interest in firearms makes me the troubled one, even though I've never done anything wrong. A month ago, my brother nearly died from an overdose. I know who his dealers are. And when I'm angry, I fantasize about what I'd do to them. I've planned it out, how I'd torture them, make them pay, and not get caught. I know it sounds twisted, but I feel like no one's protecting people from monsters like them. A classmate of his is in a coma now. Fentanyl. Same dealers. I've told no one. But sometimes I think the world would be better without those guys. And sometimes I scare myself with how much I believe it. Story 26. I'm in my 40s, married with kids. Earlier this year, I lost my job. I'd always dreamed of running my own business, so I took the leap. At first, my wife was supportive. But by July, we were behind on rent. Car payments were late. The kids needed food. I was desperate. I did the one thing I swore I never would. I called my dad. He's estranged from the family because of something horrible he did years ago. I didn't tell my wife. I just asked him for a loan. He gave me $6,000 under one condition. I pay him back double by December. I agreed. Now it's October. Hurricane Harvey destroyed what little progress my business made. I haven't made a payment. I'm terrified. My wife still doesn't know. I feel like I made a deal with the devil, and the clock's ticking. I don't know how to tell her. Or what happens when my dad decides he wants his money. Story 27. My whole life has been a secret. I'm 26 now, and it started at age 6. I was bullied constantly. Teachers kept me inside at recess for my safety. In high school, things got better until my old bullies transferred in. They ruined everything. Then I got hit by a speeding car while biking. 3 weeks in the ICU. Doctors told my parents to look into special needs schools. I don't remember anything from before the accident. I suspect it might not have been an accident at all. Maybe I was trying to end it. My parents refused special edition. They made me study my own and my sister's schoolwork. I pushed through. In college, I finally got tested. Turned out I wasn't dumb, I was gifted. Regular school bored me, so I never did the work. I went back, took the hardest law courses I could, and graduated early. No one knows any of this. Not my friends, not my parents. They just think I turned out fine. But I carry all of it alone. Story 28. I used to work as a rape crisis counselor. Most people think rapists are strangers. They're not. They're boyfriends, friends, classmates. One woman came to our center 7 or 8 times. Her boyfriend would rape her, she'd press charges, then drop them the next day when he apologized. I hated that man. Then one day, months later, I saw him. In the campus bathroom. I wasn't thinking. I grabbed him and slammed his head into the hand dryer. He went down instantly. I panicked. Dragged him into a stall. Took his iPod and tossed it in another building's trash to make it look like a robbery. Then I went back to my dorm and staged an alibi. Made it look like I'd been drinking all morning. No one ever suspected me. I've never told anyone. Not my wife. Not my closest friends. I still feel guilty, not for hitting him, but for risking everything. If anyone ever found out, I'd lose everything. But I don't regret it. Not one bit. Story 29. In 1996, I almost became a school shooter. I was a junior in high school, bullied daily. My dad had died, my mom was emotionally absent, and my sister married a guy close to my age who treated me like dirt. On the school bus, bullies tormented me. One girl slapped me repeatedly on the back of the head. The driver ignored it. Another bully followed me from a different bus. I felt cornered, powerless. One day, after the slapping incident, I decided I was done. I packed my late dad's .38 pistol and a box of ammo. I planned to kill every one of them, on both buses. But when I got to school, I froze. I walked around all day with that loaded gun in my bag and never pulled it out. No one knew. No one noticed. That evening, I rode the bus to my sister's house. The bullies left me alone that day like some miracle. I transferred schools the next year and had a good senior year. Years later, I ran into one of those bullies at a party. He smiled, said hi. I just stared. He had no idea how close he came to dying. Story 30. I got married at the end of July. It was a blur, dancing, hugs, friends from all over. At one point, I stepped out to use the restroom and saw a group of guys catching up. One of them, my buddy who's a firefighter, was telling another wild story. He's always been the life of the party. When it ended, we hugged. He looked me in the eye and said, "I'm proud of you, man. Really proud." Then, almost casually, he said, "I'm gonna ****ing kill myself, dog. Just shoot myself in the head." I laughed. I thought it was just another one of his shock value jokes. I told him to visit California sometime and call me instead. A month later, his sister called. He'd shot himself. I can't describe the guilt. He told me and I didn't listen. I didn't take him seriously. I remember the photographer pulling my wife and me outside for sunset photos. He was in the distance, alone in a field, smoking, staring at the horizon. That image haunts me. He already knew. And I failed him. I missed the signs because I wasn't paying attention. I'll never forgive myself for that. Story 31. I've been abused most of my life by my older brother. He has Asperger's, and while I try to be understanding, the abuse has been relentless. He shouts, insults, hits, and constantly puts me down. My parents never did anything. They brushed it off as just how he is. But it left scars. Deep ones. Recently, I came out as bi to a few friends. One of them betrayed me. They cut me off, told others, and started spreading lies. The school didn't care. I brought proof to the administration. They ignored me. My counselor told me to focus on what I can change. How do you do that when no one's held accountable? My parents don't want to talk about it. My friends still hang out with the person who hurt me. I feel invisible. Every day, I smile for others and try to be the supportive one, but I'm falling apart inside. Writing this is the only relief I've had in weeks. I don't know how much longer I can keep pretending I'm okay. I just want someone, anyone, to finally take my side, to believe me, to fight for me like I've fought for everyone else. Story 32. I killed my grandmother. Not with a weapon, but with words. She had suffered several strokes, and after the last one, she was gone mentally. She didn't recognize anyone, couldn't speak, could barely move. But someone else held her medical power of attorney, a distant family member who refused to sign a do not resuscitate order because of their religious beliefs. She was trapped in a body that no longer worked, kept alive by machines and feeding tubes. One day I visited. I remembered she spoke another language that no one else in the home used. I tried speaking it softly. She responded barely. I realized she understood, just not English. Days later, I called the nursing home and asked to speak with her. They said she couldn't talk. I insisted. When I got her on the line, I spoke in her language and told her the food was bad, that she should stop eating. She resisted. I kept repeating it, gently but firmly. Eventually, she agreed. A month later, she died. They said she had refused to eat. No one knew why. I do. I gave her permission to go. I freed her. I don't regret what I did, but I can never tell anyone. Story 33. When I was a kid, ages 9 to 14, I abused my younger siblings. My sister was 6 years younger. My brother, 3 years, and severely autistic. I hit them, yelled at them, peed in their drinks, played cruel pranks, and said the most vicious things. I was angry all the time, and they became my outlet. My parents were busy working. My grandma watched us but never intervened. At 15 or 16, I stopped hitting them, but I still bullied them. I didn't realize how much damage I'd done until years later. Now I'm 21. I've changed. I treat them with kindness. My brother can't understand an apology, but I try to show him love every day. My sister and I are close, but it's not the closeness we should have. She reacts intensely when we argue, and I know it's because of those early years. I ruined her childhood. I'll never forgive myself for that. The guilt eats away at me. I don't know how to make it up to them. I just hope they can feel how much I want to. I was a terrible brother. I'm trying to be better now, but I can never erase what I did. Story 34. I moved back near family after 20 years. My brother was going through a divorce. His ex cheated and emotionally abused him. He found someone new, remarried, and he's doing better now. But being around him is hard. There's something dark around him. Always has been. Since we were kids, I've felt it. We used to share a room, and I'd have terrifying experiences, but only when he was there. Not when I was alone. Now as an adult, I still feel it when I'm near him. Like something is following him. Watching. I don't know how he lives with it. I've told no one. Seeing spirits runs in our family. Some cousins could see them. I can't. But I feel them. A family member once told me I'm sensitive to that stuff, but too scared to embrace it. They were right. I don't want to explore it. I just want to feel safe. My nieces and nephews say they see ghosts, too. It's not a fun family trait. I try to ignore it. Act normal. But every time I visit him, I brace myself for that dark presence to return. And it always does. Story 35. Growing up, I thought my mom was the coolest. She let me watch whatever, do whatever, no rules. She was fun, like a best friend. My stepmom, though, she had rules, structure, discipline. I hated her. Thought she was mean. Fast forward 25 years, I'm a parent now. My biological mom is an addict. She's never met my kids. She never will unless she gets clean. I haven't spoken to her in 4 years. My stepmom, the one I used to resent, is the woman my kids call grandma. She's the one who showed up, who cared, who guided me even when I pushed her away. I regret how I treated her. Every Mother's Day, I try to write her a card that explains how grateful I am, but the words never come out right. I call her Mom now. I treat her with the respect she always deserved. But I've never apologized for how long it took me to see her for who she really was. I wasted so many years admiring the wrong woman. I wish I could take that back. I just hope she knows how much I love her now. Story 36. I was 13 when my dad took us to San Francisco. We crossed the Golden Gate Bridge on the first day. I remember feeling sick just watching people lean over the rails. I didn't know people jumped from there. I wish I hadn't found out the way I did. On the second day, it was foggy and cold. Fewer tourists. As we walked, I saw someone on the other side of the railing, just the back of their hoodie. Before I could process what I was seeing, they jumped. Gone. No sound. No splash. Just vanished. No one else seemed to notice. I convinced myself I imagined it. There were no cops. No crowd. Nothing. I buried the memory. Years later, I watched a documentary about the bridge. It all came flooding back. People jump all the time. Many go unnoticed. I realized I probably was the last person to see that individual alive. And I said nothing. Somewhere out there, a family is still wondering what happened. I want to tell them I saw. That it was real. That I didn't make it up. But I can't. I'm in limbo too. Story 37. I've always been the weird kid. Greasy hair, mismatched clothes, smelled bad because I didn't wipe properly. I was bullied constantly. I cried during class once because I thought the hairs on my arm were parasites. I was socially clueless, failed tests, and cheated out of fear. My sister was my only friend. She was perfect. Smart, kind, artistic. I used to pray that if someone in the family had to die, it wouldn't be her. Then one day she did. She hanged herself in her closet. She'd been self-harming, but none of us knew how bad it was. My dad cried for the first time. I didn't cry. I wrote a fictional story about someone losing their best friend to suicide. I made jokes about it weeks later. I yelled at my mentally handicapped brother. I didn't care about anyone. Looking back, I was a monster. Now I'm older. I have no friends. My family's barely holding together. My baby sister is the only thing keeping my parents alive. I'm close to the edge. But I can't tell anyone. If my mom knew, she might follow my sister. I just wish I wasn't so broken. I wish I'd been better when it mattered. Story 38. I'm in a new relationship, for months in, and I'm pretty sure he's the love of my life. I have 2 amazing kids. Life had finally started to feel settled. Then I switched birth control. It messed with my cycle, and I got pregnant. I didn't want to terminate, but I knew I had to. We couldn't afford another child. I took misoprostol at almost 6 weeks. It was the right decision, logically. But emotionally, I feel like I'm falling apart. I haven't told anyone. Only my boyfriend knows. I work with infants and toddlers, and my coworker is 7 months pregnant. It's been torture. I feel like I'm drowning in silence. I don't regret my choice, but I grieve it. I feel like I should be stronger. My boyfriend has been amazing, gentle, kind, supportive, but I'm afraid my sadness will ruin what we have. I don't feel like I deserve him. Some days I can't even look at my kids without this wave of guilt and sorrow crashing over me. I know it'll get better eventually. But right now I'm not okay. And I don't know when I will be. Story 39. About a month ago, I almost hung myself. I've had end-of-life thoughts most of my life. I've told one person. Just one. And only because I was told it's healthier to talk. But honestly, I don't want to talk about it. I wish I hadn't told anyone. It's not fair to dump that on someone else. I'm not angry at anyone. I'm not blaming the world. I just can't shake this constant feeling of pain. Even when nothing's wrong, something feels wrong. Like a low hum of sadness that never goes away. I don't enjoy being alive. I don't know what makes me happy anymore. I don't know what matters. I'm not crying all the time. I'm not in crisis. It's more like numbness. I often wish I'd die in some random accident. Something that wouldn't make people wonder if it was end of life. Something clean. Quiet. I know people care about me. I know I'm not a bad person. But I can't feel that care. It's like it never reaches me. I'm tired of pretending I'm okay. But I'm also too tired to explain why I'm not. So I just keep going. I'm still here. But I don't know why.